So today, first we'll discuss the other selection input screen. One more way of creating a selection screen, that is select options. So earlier we have seen parameters which is used to provide a single input value. So today we'll see the other way. So we will create selection screen, but here we are passing a range of inputs. Instead of giving a single input value, there is a requirement where user want to enter a range of input value like low value, high value. So if we want to provide them as low value and high value, then we have to create select options. So with the select options, we have some additional features like we can pass default values, or we can hide the higher value, and we can hide the multiple selection button, and we can make the selection option as a mandatory one with the help of obligatory. So these additional options we'll see in the coming up classes. But today, just focus on the creation of select options. So select options are used to provide a range of inputs in the selection screen. So in the selection screen only, we are passing the input values. So let's create this one. So before creating selection screen with the select options, let me show you a program. So this program has used select options. So in this program, three includes are there. One is for declaration, the another is for select options, and the last one for logic. So let me open the second one. And if you see, okay. So this is a syntax to create a select option. Select options, select option name. And here we need to give a keyword called for. In parameters, we have given parameters, parameter name, type, data element we have given. So in select options, we have to use the word for, and we can create two ways select options. But before creating, let me put a breakpoint and I'll show you how the select option is creating. So I'll go to the logic and I'll put this one. Suppose I'll enter. So I'm entering from 16 to, suppose, let me take 18. So low value I have given 16, high value I have given 18. So I'm giving a range of value with the help of select options. So in the program, I have used a select option for material so that I'm able to enter the low value of material and higher value of material. And I'll execute. And let me select desktop 3. So this S Matner is nothing but which is the name of select option. When I double click on the S Matner, here you can see two names are appeared. One is without bracket, the other one is with bracket. Suppose if I click on this one with bracket, see how it looks like. Did you see somewhere like this, which is a combination of rows and columns? I'm not asking these labels, just I'm asking the layout. Like
Internal
three
table.
names. Yes, internal table, exactly. So this select option will create internal table. So when I double click on S Matner, you can see two names are appeared, which is representing with bracket. This is nothing but internal table. And without bracket, if I double click on it, have you seen this type of layout anytime? Yeah. If you don't recall, uh, let me double click on this one. This is a work area, and look at the layout. And if I go to S Matner, look at the layout. It is similar, right? Work area of material and S Matner, when I double click on this one. So this is nothing but it is like a work area. But both names are same. If you see, internal table name and work area name is same. So this select option is created with the concept of header line. So there is a concept in olden days they have used like internal, like right now we are creating internal table work area separately with different names. But earlier they have used a concept internal table with header line. So whenever we are using internal table with header line concept, work area name will be same as internal table. If you see the two names here, S matter, S matter same. But how can we identify? If it is representing with bracket, that is nothing but internal table. And if you see there is a cap symbol. So this is nothing but it is a header part, like it act as a structure. When I place the cursor on this cap, you can see there is a name header. So select option is created with the concept of internal table with header line. Header line in the sense it is act as a structure only. But right now it is absolute. We are not using. We are using work areas and field symbols. So we are not using header line concept. But you need to aware of it whenever we are using select options. So suppose if I want to use select option in my program, I have to build like this. I need to build these columns in my program, like sign, option, low, high. So these are the columns of select option. You can create anywhere in the program or for any field. You can create select option for any field, but these columns are mandatory. It won't be changed, like sign, option, low, high. Like when you go to Mara table, you will see different fields in the table, like 270 fields will be there. Similar way, if you come to select option, by default, it is having four fields. One is sign, option, low, high. And if you see, I have entered 16 in the left side. Whenever I have, let me open one more screen. Here I have entered 16 and here I entered 18. So low value, I gave 16. High value, I have given 18. So those values are returned in this column. At the low field, what value I have given that has been written. And at high field, what value I have given that is written. But these values I have entered in the selection screen. So those values are written in the select option under the column low and high. And if you see, there is a second column option. Option is nothing but here. It can be between of these values. Like option will be written either the value should be between low to high or equal or not equal. So option can be equal, not equal, or between. So these three are the options. For example, 16 to 18 I have given. So which values will be displayed? 16, 17, 18. So the records which are existed with material number 16, 17, 18 will be displayed. Meaning it is taking from 16 to 18. In between 16 to 18, how many numbers are there? Those will be displayed. Because I have given 16 to 18. By default, it will take BT is nothing but between. In between low to high, how many values are there? Those all the records will be displayed. If you don't specify anything, it will take by default BT. Suppose you have a condition where it should not be equal to any particular number, then you can give not equal to in instead of BT. BT is nothing but between. Suppose if you want to exclude any value, then you can write not equal to. So any is nothing but not equal to. So there are some scenarios where user will enter only single values. At that time, we can give EQ. EQ is nothing but it is equal. So depends on the requirement, we can use these options. So BT is nothing but it will take from low to high in between all the values. N is nothing but not equal to. If you want to exclude any value, you can use NE. And if you are entering only single value, like instead of low and high value, suppose you are entering only single value. Is this? Suppose if you are entering only single value, so it will be act as a parameter. With the help of select option, we can able to pass a range of values and also single input values. If you don't pass any higher value, then it will be act like a parameter. So that we'll see. Mm. So right now I have given low value, high value. So by default, it has taken between. So it will display from 16 to 18 in between any numbers are there. So those records, if it is existed in the database table, that will be displayed like 16, 17, 18. I'll come out from this one. Now you can see 16, 17, 18 are there. So it is displayed. Now I don't give any high value. I am giving only low value. If you see, I am giving only low value 16. And I'll click on execute. Again, I'll double click on SMAT. First, let me check desktop 3. I'll choose SMAT tab. So this is internal table. And if I double click on this internal table, see, automatically option is changed to EQ because I have given single input. If you give single input value, it will be act like a parameter. So by default, it will be taken as EQ. So it will be check the validation, which materials are equal to this number that will be displayed. So which values are equal to here option is there EQ and how it is compared with this low value because I have entered only low value. So which values are equal to 60? Those will be fetched from the database table and it will be displayed. And here one more column is there, sign is there. So sign under the sign, there is a value I. So I is nothing but including, meaning this value will be include like 16. Whenever I give 16 and I'll click on execute, it will be fetch 16 record from database table, meaning it is including this value. Suppose there are some scenarios where a user want to exclude some value. Suppose here I have given 16 and I am fetching up to 21. Okay, 21 is there. So I'm taking up to 21. So low value is 16, high value is 21. But a record user doesn't want to see 18th record. So 18th record should not be displayed. So I want to exclude 18th material number. I want to display material numbers from 16 to 21. So it should be displayed in between 16 to 21, like 16, 17, and it should exclude 18. So it has to display, where is this? Like 16 to 21 should be displayed. And in that, it has to display 16, 17, 19, 20, 21. It should exclude 18. Suppose if any records are existed with 19, 20, that should be displayed. But it has to hide 18th record. It has to exclude 18th record. I am giving a range of input, which is low value 16, high value is 21. But I want to exclude one record, which is material number is 18. So in that scenario, there is an option called multiple selection. So click on that. Here you can enter single input values or single range values, or if you want to exclude any range of values, you can exclude by choosing this tab, exclude ranges. Like you can exclude any range value from 16 to 18, you can exclude it. After that, you can display it. Or if you want to exclude any single values, you can write it here. So in this scenario, I want to exclude 18th material number. So I have written 18 and I'll click on continue and I'll click on copy. So now I have given input 16, low value, high value 21. And if you see, this is little bit dark. This icon is activated, meaning I have used multiple selection. Under this multiple selection, I have chosen this tab to exclude a material number 18. Now, I'll click on execute. So I'll go to desktop 3 and I'll double click on SMAT now. So here two are there. So one is one record is it should be include the values between from 16 to 21. If you see option is BT, BT is nothing but it should be between from 16 to 21. And second record is if you see under the sign E is there. So E is nothing but exclude. So it should exclude which value is equal to 18. So I'm going to give the input, the range from 16 to 21. So it will display in between 16 to 21. But I want to exclude a material number which is equal to 18 or which is 18. So which is 18 is nothing but which is equal to 18. So how this internal table will be stored? Under the sign, it will be written as E. E is nothing but it will be exclude. So under the sign, we have two options. One is include, the other one is exclude. If you want to fetch and if you want to display in the output screen, we use a value called I. I is nothing but it will include the values. Suppose if you don't want to see any records, if you want to exclude those values, then we use the value called E. E is nothing but exclude. And I have given only single value 18. So that is the reason it has taken equal to. So which is equal to 18, that will be exclude. Suppose if I exclude this one, see 16, 17, 21. Earlier 18th record was there. So 18th was displayed. Now 18th is not displayed because I have excluded. And in the table 19, 20 material numbers are not existed. So that is the reason we are unable to see that. So if the records are existed, that will be displayed. But 18th record is there, but I have excluded. So in this way, we use select options. Suppose if I want to use in my program, I have to create those four columns. In the debugging mode, we have seen, right, four columns. So those four columns I need to use. So those fields are nothing but, let me show you once again. Sign, option, low, high. And whenever we use in our program, we need to follow same sequence. Like first field should be sign, next field should be option, then low and high. Always remember we should follow the same sequence. Now I'll keep this one as it is and I'll open new session. So I'll write a new program for classical report. So yesterday we have started the introduction of classical report. So I'll create classical report and in that I'll use select option. To classical report. Classical report and select the type as executable program. So reports are nothing but executable programs which is used to read the data from the database table and display the data in a required format. It can be list format or grid format. As of now, we are discussing classical report. So in classical report, we use a simple write statement. Now, first thing, I need a select option. So the requirement is user want to fetch a range of input uh, customer number. So user want to fetch customer number from K11 table. And along with that, user want to see customer number, name, city, country. So four fields data user want to see. And input screen should consist of two parameters. Sorry, two different inputs user want to see. One is uh, country, the other one is customer number. So user want to enter a single value of country, a range of value of what we say customer number. Let me write somewhere. So here in this requirement, first input screen. Input screen should be first thing country with single input, and then customer number with range of input. So user want to see these two in the selection screen. Selection screen is nothing but input screen. So country with single input. So if it is single input, which one I should use? Parameters. Yes, parameters we can use. So if you want to select option, that can be also used. But we'll use two different ways of, we will create selection screen with two ways. One is with parameters, the other one is with select options in this scenario. So parameters. So country key is nothing but land one. Let me open the table. So Kenya1 customer master table. And from here, so land one, data element is this one. Either we can give table name hyphen field name. Let me close this one. Type. And now the next one is customer number. So customer number should be a range of input. So if it is a range of input, we use a keyword select option. So select options, select option name like parameter name how we have given. Similar way, here we need to specify the select option name. So user want to see select a range of input value for customer number. So customer number, we have a field called Kunar. If I go to the table, see what is the name of the field? Kunar. So same name I will take for the select option. S Kunar for. So here we need to use a keyword for. S Kunar for. And as of now, I haven't created, I haven't defined the data element of this Kunar. Like this Kunar, what is the data element? Kunar only. So I haven't defined what is mean by Kunar, like customer number data element. I haven't defined in the program as of now. If you see, I haven't defined. For parameter, directly we can define it. But for select option, with the help of for keyword, we cannot define the data element. So if you are using a keyword for, then here you need to refer a variable. Suppose I'll refer a variable LV Kunar. Suppose if I save and I'll check it, LV Kunar is unknown because system is not recognizing. So I need to define this LV Kunar. So for that, I need data keyword, data, LV Kunar type. Here I can define data element of this select option. Suppose if I save and I'll check it, no error. So whenever we are creating select option, we have to define a variable name. And with this variable, you can define the data element of select option. I'm going to create select option on the customer number. So this is the customer select option for the customer number. So what is the variable name here? Kunar. So this Kunar is belongs to this data element. So this is one way of creating select option. The other way, suppose if you are confusing to create two things, like one you need to create select option, the other one is you need to create a variable. So if you are confused with these two things, we have one more way. Select options, select option name for table name hyphen field name. So for which field you want to put the select option, you need to define the field name with the table name. And along with that, you need to declare the table name. So how we will declare the table name? Do you remember that? Tables. Yes, with the help of tables keyword, we can declare the table name. So this is other way. If I save and check it, no errors. So if you want to create a select option for a field, always remember either you need to create for a variable or else you can define directly with the field and table name. And always remember, if you don't specify the tables keyword, it will give a syntax error because it cannot be recognized. K-N-A-1 Kunari is unknown. So that is the reason you need to define the table name. Suppose if I save and check it, no error. So these are the two ways to create select options. Syntax, select option. Similar way here too. And now if I activate this one, if I'll execute, see, parameter it is created single input and select option range of inputs. So here I can enter the low value and here I can enter the high value. Suppose if I want to enter single range values, I can able to enter. Suppose if I want to enter customer number one, customer number two, customer number three, like single input values, if I want to enter, here I can able to give it. Suppose if I want to give a range like low and high value, here I can able to give like from 1 to 10. Suppose if I want to exclude any values, just now we have seen. So same way we can exclude any value by choosing this tab. Suppose if you want to exclude any range value like low and high value, then you can able to enter it in this tab. So these are the additional features of select options. If you choose this multiple select option, you can able to find this. So let me close this one. I'll come back. So remember, if you have any input parameters like parameters or select options, always remember provide the selection text. In real time, also we don't give the selection text like this because user doesn't understand. So user cannot enter any input based on the field label. They will understand and they can put the values here. Suppose if we give like this, user cannot understand what is meant by land one. So they cannot enter the input what they want to enter. So that is the reason provide the selection text. So once you create it, immediately you can provide the selection text. So for that, go to text elements, choose the second tab selection text. So this is for country and Kunari is nothing but customer number and save it. You must activate it. Then come back. I'll do one more time activation. If I execute, now user can choose by saying this variable. Okay, here I need to enter the country. Here I need to enter the customer number. Like that user can recognize by seeing this text. So that is the reason whenever we have any input screen parameters, you need to pass the selection text. So till now, do you have any doubt? Creation of select options. Any doubts? No doubt. Okay. So we'll move on to the classical report now. In our report, we are using input screen. One is for country, the other one is for customer number. And based on the user selection, it has to fetch from the customer master table, that is KNA1 table. So this logic you already know, same selection, select query we need to write, loop statement we need to write. But today we'll learn few events along with the creation of report. So you need to know few events. So those are, first we need to know initialization. So initialization, as we already know, event is nothing but it will be triggered either by user action or else when it reach a specific time. So that event will be triggered manually with the help of user action, or else automatically when a certain time has been reached, it will be triggered. So we need to know at which point of time a event will be triggered. So that we can use in our program. So first we'll learn initialization. This event will be displayed before our selection screen or input screen is called. So we are creating an input screen, right? Like this. Let me activate this one. So this is input screen. So before call the screen or before open the screen, first event will be triggered, that is initialization event. So the main purpose of initialization event is nothing but it is used to fill the data, or it is used to pass default values in the selection screen. Suppose if you want to pass any default values in the selection screen, then we can take the help of initialization. So whenever we first execute our program, first initialization event will trigger. So before calling the screen or before displaying the screen, automatically this value should be filled. So that can be achieved with the help of initialization event. So manually, we are not performing any action. Like whenever we pass the values, like with the help of initialization event, we will pass default values. So whenever we execute the program, automatically it will be triggered. So whenever we execute a program, first which event will be triggered? Initialization event will be triggered, because the main purpose of this event is it will pass default values to the input screen. So that is the reason before appear in the screen, first these values should be filled. So that can be filled with the help of initialization event. So let's see that one. Mm, So to use initialization event, we have a keyword called initialization. So this is an event which is used to pass default values. And which is used to pass default values to the selection screen or input screen. Now, suppose I want to pass default values. So there is a requirement, like a user want to enter country. So user will enter manually country, but user doesn't want to enter the customer number manually. Like user want to enter the values from, let me go to the table. Whatever the values are there, let's see. Okay, it starts with 1. Don't see the number is there. Okay, 400. So I'll take 1 to 400. So user want to check only the values from 1 to customer numbers from 1 to 400. So instead of entering manually again and again, when user will run the report, like whenever user will run the report, mm, like instead of entering manually always, like here 1, here 400, like instead of entering manually, user want to fill this data, like whenever user will click on execute, automatically user want to see a default values in the screen for customer number. So only user will enter country, and this customer number should be filled automatically. Before user click on execute, it should be filled automatically. So that is a requirement. So for that, we can use initialization event for the customer number. So to pass the customer number values, I believe the debugging has been removed. Mm, Let me open it again. Okay, already there. Let me execute. 16, 21. Now I'm not excluding anything. 16 to 21. If I go to desktop 3 and if I select on S Mattner, so what is the first column? It is filled sign. So if I want to use in my program, so I need to write first sign. And as I told you, select option will build internal table with a concept of header line, meaning internal table and work area name is same. So if the internal table name is S Mattner, work area also S Mattner. How these names are appeared? If you see, S Matter is nothing but this is a select option. In that program, I have used a. Let me open the program and I'll show you. If I go to program, see what is the name of the select option name? S Mattner. So same name it is taking for the internal table as well as work area. And with the help of work area, we will pass the required values into the internal table. We already know if you want to fill the internal table, how we will fill? With the help of work area. So with the help of work area, we will pass at a time one by one record into the internal table. So whatever the values we have, we will pass firstly to the work area. So here work area is nothing but same name. Work area name and internal table name is same. If I double click on this one, see work area name also same. What is the first component? Component is nothing but field. So value which one they have given? I. Option what they have given? PT. And low. It is nothing but material number. High. I have entered 16, 18, but internally see it is taking leading zeros also because in the table, whenever they have created material number, how many character length they have given, maximum character length, that will be taken here. Suppose 10 character length they have taken. So 16 will be 2 digit, remaining 8 will be written as zeros. So whenever we use in our program, even we need to specify the zeros also. We should not enter directly 16. Always remember, we need to specify the leading zeros also. And high value also same. So if I want to use in my program, similar way, I need to pass to the work area. If you see, this is the work area. So for work area, first I need to pass sign field, next option, then low and high. So if I go to today's program, what is our select option name? Eskunar. So this will be act as internal table and work area. So first I need to pass to the work area so that it will be up into the internal table. So Eskunar, if I press Control and Space bar, see, 4 fields are there. But as I told you, we need to follow the same sequence. So what is the first field? Sign. So first you need to follow, first you need to give sign. Sign. Sign is nothing but whether you want to include the values or exclude the values, you need to specify here. So I want to include the value. So I need to specify capital I. In the debugging mode also, we have seen it has given capital I. And always remember it is a case sensitive. Whenever you are passing any values in the single quotes, that must be case sensitive. So always remember pass capital values like capital X whenever we selected radio buttons or check boxes, we have given capital X, right? Similar way, here also we need to pass capital values. And next field is option. For option, what is the value they have given? BT. So it will be include between 16 to 21 values. So in my requirement also from 1 to 400 customer numbers user want to see. So it should include the values in between from 1 to 400, like 1, 2, 3 till 400. So I need to pass BT. BT is nothing but between low to high value. So that we can pass the value with the help of option field. So Eskunath option. Option is nothing but DT capital. Then Eskunath low value. So low value, let me go to the table and I'll copy it. We need to take zeros also, always remember. So I'm copying from one Let me take somewhat higher number. Excuse me. So I'll take, let's check. 200 is there. Okay. Okay. So here low value 1 and high value. Let me change it as 5. And here I'll give 400. So 0 here. Okay. Here also 0. Here should be changed as 400. So once we are assigning the values to the work area, what we will do, we will append to the internal table with the help of append statement. But here append, like earlier we used to write append work area to internal table. But in this case, internal table work area is having the same name because they are using header line concept. So at that time directly we can write append internal table name, like append work area. What is the header line name? Eskunar, same name. Like internal table name is same, work area name is same. So you no need to write append work area to internal table, like eskunar to eskunar. No need to write. Whenever we use append statement, system will be recognized like we are appending to the internal table. So only this statement is enough. If I say check, activate, and if I execute, see, automatically these values are filled 1 to 400. So for customer number, it is filled 1 and here 400. So manually user will enter the country based on his requirement. So input screen is ready now. So this event, initialization event will be triggered first and it will pass the default values to the selection screen. So this one we'll see in the debugging mode. Okay, let me activate once again. So I kept the breakpoint here. I'll click on execute. See first which event is triggered. If you see the first event name is initialization. Under the initialization, this event is triggered. If I double click on Eskunar, see this is the work area and this is internal table. So as of now, it is empty. If I click on F6, 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 now after appending the value, okay, I'll write the next statement so that whatever the value has been filled, you can able to see. But always remember, initialization event will be triggered at first before calling this input screen. So this is the first event. Then at selection event is there at selection screen. So this event used to validate. So it is used to validate the input data. At selection screen event is used to validate the input data, meaning like whenever user will enter the input, whether it is exist in the table or not. If it is not existed, it will stop there itself. If it is existed, it will continue to go to the next action. If the values are not existed, it will stop the user in the input screen itself. If values are existed, it will go to the next screen, like it will be display the output screen based on the selection criteria. So at selection screen, event is used to validate the input. So this event will be triggered whenever user click or enter anything on the input screen. So always remember, whenever we are learning events, you need to know at which point of time this event will be triggered. So initialization event will trigger before calling the input screen so that we are able to pass default values. And similar way at selection screen event will be triggered whenever user do any action on the input screen. Like whenever user click or whenever user press enter on the input screen, then this event will be triggered. So let's use this one. So before using that event, hmm, let me write select query. Okay, let's go by flow. Add selection screen. And here user is entering land and what we are saying, customer number. So like whatever the land user is entering, because already default value we have passed to the customer number, so user will not change anything. So land is nothing but land one is nothing but country. So whenever user is entering the country, if it is existed in the table, then it will be display the data. If it is not existed in the table, then it stop there. So that is the reason, to validate the input data, we are using an event called at selection screen. And here we are validating this input, P land one. So the parameter which user is entering the country. So this we need to validate it. So for that, I need to write a query, select single. So user is entering single value of country, right? So select single land one. So the field name is nothing but land one from. And this is the important one. Whenever you are validating any input parameter or any input screen parameters, always remember it should be fetched from master table. So master table, we need to fetch, we should not fetch like I am fetching the data from KNA1 table. So here I should not write like KNA1. It's a mistake. In real time also, whenever we are using reports, always remember we need to use this event. We need to validate it. If you don't specify, if any senior consultancy, they used to say you need to do the validation. So validation is nothing but we need to check whether the input is existed or not in the master table. So to find out the master table of this field, just double click on the data element. So this is the data element. So if I double, not this one, I'll go to the table. Okay. Let me see from here. So I have double click on the data element, and from here, double click on the domain, choose the tab value range, scroll down. So there is a name called value table. So value table means master table. So this is a master table for country. So whatever the country keys are there, those all will be declared in the master table. So we already discussed what is mean by master data, right? Which is having the main information. So whenever we do the validation, always remember we need to fetch from the master table. So in master table, everything will be existed. So we need to check from the master table, not transactional table. Always remember. So copy this table name and come back. And if you want to know what is the table, just go to AC11 transaction code, enter the table name, and you can see that is belongs to the countries. So here I will write the table name. So select single land one. We are selecting country key from master table, that is T005. And into, we are selecting only single field value. So which data medium I need to use to store that land one value? Do you know that? So first we need to select from the database table, then we need to store somewhere. So any idea? I am fetching single field value. So I need to store somewhere on the application layer. So which data medium I need to use? Work area. So work area will take single record, but I'm taking only single field here. I'm not taking multiple fields. It will give like this single field value. Like it will store either India or US or Germany, like single field value it will be storing. So for single field value, which is a suitable data medium? It is a variable. Variable can store single value, right? So I'm fetching only single value, that is country. So this can be stored in a variable. So I need to declare a variable to store. Mhm. Let me take a data, LV value, type, land one, GB. So which is the same of country key. So that is nothing but data element of land one GP. So I will fetch a single country key from master table. Then I will store in a variable called LV value. And here my condition is where. So where my condition is based on the user input. Based on the user input, it has to fetch from this master table. So where land one is equal to where user is entering with the help of this parameter, right? So I need to write where land one is equal to p land one. So whatever the user is entering, that country key will be fetched, that will go to this table. And in this table, there is a column with land one. In that column, whatever user has passed the value, if it is there, that will be stored in this variable. Suppose if it is not there, it should stop them. If it is not there, it should stop them. So it should stop them is nothing but the above condition will be fail. Suppose I have entered some wrong input which is not exist in the table. So what will happen? It will stop me in the input screen itself. So for that, I need to write a statement if size sub RC not equal to 0. Because sometimes user might enter the wrong input value. So at that time, this condition will be fail. If this condition is failed, then it will give a message. Message, please enter valid country key. Type, suppose I have given like error message. And if so, in this way, we can give the validation. So select single land one means it will take country key from this master table and it will be stored in this variable. And I have a condition. It should go to this table and fetch based on the user entry. Like whenever input screen appear, user will enter the country key. So based on that user entry, it should go to T005 table and it should fetch the particular country key and it will be stored in this variable. Suppose if it is existed successfully, then it will move on to the next action. Suppose the user entered the wrong input value, then it will be stopped there itself. Like it will be show a error message so that user will understand, okay, whatever I have entered the country, that is not valid. And let me save it. I'll check. I'll activate. Now let's see these two steps in the debugging mode. So I'll put a breakpoint at 17th line and one more at 24th line. So in these two, which event will be triggered first, initialization or at selection screen? Which event will be triggered first? Okay, if you don't have an idea, let's see. So I kept two breakpoints at 17th and 24th. So whenever we will execute, we'll see first which breakpoint will be triggered, either 17th or 24th. So 17th is belongs to first event, that is initialization, and 24th is belongs to at selection screen event. So let me execute. Have you seen any input screen? No. Whenever I click on execute, there is no input screen. And if you look at the line number 17th, there is a cursor. I kept two breakpoints, but which breakpoint first triggered? 17th one. So 17th one is nothing but initialization event is triggered. As I told you, first initialization event will trigger. Always remember, whenever you are using initialization event along with other events, first initialization event will trigger because it will pass the default values to the selection screen before it is displaying. Right now, it was not displayed the selection screen. Directly it went to the debugging mode. I haven't entered country key in the input screen. So directly it went to the debugging mode because it is triggered first initialization event. So first it will fill these values to the input screen. Next, input screen will be displayed. So let's see that one. If I double click on S corner, as of now 0, I'll do F8 directly. Now see, when I do F8, now input screen is appeared. In this input screen, see, customer number is filled. So before the screen, initialization event is triggered. When I click on F8, now input screen is filled with customer number 1 to 400. Did you look at the customer number? So before displaying this input screen, initialization event is triggered. After that, input screen is displayed. Now here I'll enter suppose country. So it will fetch the country which is belongs to India, which are having customer numbers like 1 to 400 customer numbers. Which customer numbers are having India country, only those will be displayed. The customer numbers 1 to 400 I am giving. So in between 1 to 400, which customer numbers having country key as India, those will be displayed. Suppose if I press enter, just I'm pressing enter. See, now the controller went to 24th line. So which event is triggered now? At selection screen event is triggered. As I told you, at selection screen event will trigger whenever you press enter or whenever you click something on the input screen, then this event will be triggered. If you remember just now, after providing the input of India, I pressed enter. So when I pressed enter, this event is triggered at selection screen. And if I double click on P land 1, I have given the input as India. And if I do F6, so if this country is existing in the customer master table, then it will go to the next action or else it will be stopped here itself. So as of now, I haven't written any write statement. So you won't see any outputs. Now I'll give some wrong input here. PP I'm giving. So this PP is not existing in the table. Country is not existed. So just now I pressed enter in the, this is the input screen. If I press enter, again at selection screen event will be triggered. Suppose if I click on this button, again at selection screen event will be triggered because this button is existed on which screen? At selection screen only. So whatever you do on the selection screen, one event will be triggered that is nothing but at selection screen. If you perform click or if you press enter in this or if you press enter here or if you click on this button, so one event will be called that is at selection screen. Now I will click on this one. See, again the controller went to 24th. Now if you remember, again it not went to initialization event because initialization event will be trigger only once because already it is past default values. So that is the reason it will trigger only once. So I did some action on the input screen, like I click on execute button. That is the reason X selection event is triggered. Now if you see the controller, it is at 24th line, meaning this event is triggered. And if you look at the country key, I have given PP. Now let me do F6. So if size of bars is not equal to 0, meaning this condition will be failed. If this country is not existing in the customer master table, Then this condition will be failed. It will go to the if statement. So in if statement, whatever I have written, that will be executed. And if I do F6 again, see, this country is not existed. If you look at here, size Saparsi is 4. It is not equal to 0 because this country key is not existed. So this message will be triggered now. Look at the bottom. Please enter valid country key. So in this way, we will stop them whenever they enter the wrong input value so that we will notify them with the help of a message. It can be error message or it can be a information message. So always remember in real time, whenever we create a report, we need to give the validations. Always remember. So validation is nothing but with the help of at selection screen, we need to give the validation, like which value you are entering in the input screen, that you need to fetch it. Like you need to write a simple select query and you should fetch from the master table. Always remember, if you want to know the master table, first this parameter, like this field data element, you can double click on it. And from data element onwards, you can double click on the domain. And from the domain, there is a tab called value range. If you scroll down, there will be a name with value table. So this is nothing but master table for country. Suppose let me copy it and I'll go to slash o 16n. So SC16n also, which is used to display the table entries. So if you don't want to see the table field names, if you want to see directly table entries, you can use SC16 transaction code 16n. If you want to see whatever the table fields are there, then you can use SC11 transaction code. But if you want to see directly the table entries, you can use SC16n. And look at the table name T005, and this is belongs to countries. So this is the master table which is holding all the countries. Suppose if I want to execute, I will click on this one. See, so this is for country or region. So these many country keys are there in the master table. So it will be fetched from this master table. So let's go to our program. So I just fill. So right now up to input screen part is finished. We haven't displayed any output and we haven't written even actual logic. Like I need to fetch the data of master table from KN1 table, 4 fields data. Like as I told you, user want to see customer number, country, name one, city. So these data I haven't fetched. So user want to see these 4 fields data. So I haven't written the logic till now. Now I will write the logic. So always remember, whatever the selection criteria we are fetching, like whenever we want to fetch any fields from the database tables, so there is an event which is used to perform all the selection logic, that is nothing but start of selection. So this event will be triggered whenever user click on execute button, this event will be triggered. So at that time, what is our main logic? That will be called. Like main logic in the sense, we are fetching the data from the database table with the help of select query, like select Kunar, name one, name two, or else select star if you want to fetch all the fields. So how we are fetching? With the help of select query. So whenever we have a logic, selection logic, if you want to trigger, then we have to use an event called start of selection. So with the help of start of selection, our logic will be triggered. So how the logic will be triggered? Here, this logic will be triggered based on the user action. Like we need to press or we need to click on execute button. Always remember. We need to click on execute button. Initialization event will be triggered automatically. At selection screen, event will trigger based on the user action on the input screen. Like we need to press enter or execute. Similar way, startup selection event will trigger based on user action only. We need to click on execute button so that this event will be triggered. So we need manual action for these two events at selection screen and startup selection. It won't be called automatically. We have to perform a action. That is, we need to click on execute button. So let's go to the program and here I will use start of selection. So this event, the main purpose is it will be execute our selection logic. So selection logic in the sense I want to fetch 4 fixed data from the database table. So that selection logic can be write with the help of this event. So before fetching this 4 fixed data, first of all, I need something because 4 fixed data, multiple records are there. So after fetching the 4 fixed data from the database table, I need to store somewhere on the application layer. Have you remembered that? Which data medium we use to store the multiple records? Hmm. Yes. Hmm. Tell me which data medium we use to store multiple records. Wait. To store multiple records, which data medium we use? No one knows.
Structure.
Structure doesn't store any data. It will create a template, like how many columns you need, just it will create a template.
Yeah.
Yeah. Internal table. We have
Yeah.
completed so many sessions on the internal table, but no one remembers. See, single value a variable can hold, single record work area can hold, multiple records internal table can hold. Always remember. So if I want to store in the internal table, first I need to create a structure because internal table is nothing but it is a combination of rows and columns. But how the system recognize I need only 4 columns, like I need Punar, name one, what is 01, land one. Suppose I need these fields. So 4 columns it should create. So system cannot be recognized. Either internal table should create based on these 4 columns. So that is the reason we are creating a structure. So structure will create a template with 4 columns. But to store these records inside these columns, we use internal table. Always remember. So first I need a structure to create a template. So structure begin of ty na1 punar type. Let me take table name hyphen field name. Punar name one type. Either you can take table name hyphen field name or else you can give directly data element. What is 01? One, what is 01? Next land one. And then end of structure. So end of ty one. So for this I need internal table in work area. So data it one type table of ty1. And with the help of work area, we will pass one by one record to the internal table. So that is the reason we are creating work area, which is the same type of this structure because the work area should have same columns, like how the internal table columns are there. It should have the same columns. So that is the reason we are referring to the same structure. Now we can write the select query. Select these four fields from, so these fields are existed in Kenya1 table. So Kenya1, you can write one by one field names. I am writing in a single line here from Kenya1. After fetching the fields from Kenya1, it will be stored into a table called internal table. So which internal table we created? IT Kenya1. But here we have a condition where, with the help of where condition, we can write. So where customer number, what is the input screen we have provided? It should be fetched from the database table. Along with that, country also. Which country user is entering, only that country should fetch from the database table. Because Kenya1 table having multiple customer numbers. If I go to the table entries, if you see here, there are so many customer numbers are there. Even countries also, there are various countries. But my condition is whatever the customer is entering based on the customer number, and also whatever the country he is entering, only those should be fetched from this Kenya1 table. So that is a condition. Meaning, suppose customer I have given in the selection criteria, that is 1 to 400. And country I have, suppose user has given India. So it has to fetch into the Kenya1 table the records which are belongs to the customer number 100 to 400, and in that customer numbers which is belongs to country India, only those should be displayed. Suppose I have given the input and I click on execute. See, only these records are existed 1 to 400. Only these customer numbers are having this country. So in this way, I want to fetch programmatically. So for that, we need to write a statement where land1. So land1, how we are giving based on the user entry. How user is entering based on this parameter. So what is the parameter name? T land1. It is a single value, so we can use equal operator. Parameter is nothing but it is a single value. So which is equal to user entry, that will be fetched from the database table. Suppose if I have given India, where the land1 is equal to India, that will be fetched from Kenya1 table. And also we have one more condition. Suppose if you have multiple conditions, then you can use AND keyword. So till now, in the select query, we have used only one where condition. So today I'm using one more where condition. So you no need to write again one more where. Just you can put AND. So if you have multiple conditions, you can use AND. So AND, I have a select option, right? So select option based on which field I have created. I created based on Kunar field. So I can write here Kunar equal to S Kunar. Suppose if I write equal to, what will happen? It will take single value. But what is my condition? I am giving the range of value like 1 to 400 I am giving. If it is a single value like this, I can put equal symbol in the where condition. Because single value, we can compare with equal symbol. But range of value like 1 to 400 is there. So I want to fetch this range of value from the database table. So how do we compare? With equal symbol, we cannot compare a range of value at a time. So we have to use a keyword called in. We have to use a keyword in because it is a range of value, low and high value. So whenever you are using select option, always remember in the where condition, you have to use in for the select option so that it will be select which are in between low to high, that will be fetched from the database table. Like which are in between from 1 to 100, that will be fetched. In is nothing but it will take from low to high value. Suppose if it is only single value, we can put equal operator. But if it is a range, always remember we have to use a operator called in. So it will be fetch low to high values, in between low to high values. So I go to program and that's it. So if I want to display, I will write loop statement, loop at itkna1 into work area kna1. So these all logic you already know, but the events you are learning at which particular time these events are triggering, either manual selection or automatic time. So first I need to display Gunath. After 20 characters, I will display work area kna1. Next name one is there. So it's 140. I will display OR301, then land 1. Let me take here 60. I haven't written headings. I'll write later. So I save, check, activate, and I put breakpoints. So again, I'm putting the breakpoints from initialization event, selection screen, start of selection. So in these three events, which event will be triggered first? Any idea? Or can you tell me by looking at this debugging, which event is triggered?
Initialization.
Yes, initialization. If you look at the controller is showing 2069. So which event is there first? Initialization. Always remember initialization event will trigger first. And as of now, this eskunar is 0. Let me do F8. So once initialization event is triggered, next which event will be triggered at selection screen, because after filling the default values in the input screen, so it will validate whether these values are extra in the database table or not. Suppose if I give IN, so I will click on execute. So at selection event is triggered. If you see, when I click on execute, the controller went from 26 line to 33 line. So this is belongs to at selection screen. Whenever I perform any action on the input screen, at selection screen event will be triggered. And if I do F6, so it will check the validation, whether this country key is existed in this database table or not. It is existed, so that is the reason it was not went to if statement. And after that, if I press execute, let me execute again. See, when I click on execute again, next which event is triggered? Start of selection event is triggered. So before fetching the data from the database table, which event is triggered? Start of selection. So from here onwards, our actual logic will be triggered. And as of now, input like internal table is 0. After executing this line, this internal table will be filled. Suppose if I click on F6, now see 6 records are existed. 6 records are existed. So this event will trigger whenever we click on execute button. And let me come out. Let me remove the breakpoints. I'll do refresh to remove everything. Okay, now breakpoints are gone. So today you have learned 3 events. We have 2 more end of selection. Okay, 3 more events are there. So the next event is, let me tell you, this top of page 1. Okay. I will explain this top of page, 5th event. So this event is used to provide, or it will trigger for the title or heading, or at the beginning of new page or at beginning of page. If you want to print any titles or if you want to print any field labels, with the help of this event, we can able to print it. So this will be print automatically whenever first write statement is existed, then top of page event will be triggered. So no manual action is required for this event. Top of page event will be triggered whenever first write statement is existed, then this event will be triggered. So the purpose of this event is it is used to print titles or headings or field labels. Like before displaying the data, we used to print field labels. So that we can able to print with the help of top of page event. So top of page event will trigger automatically whenever first write statement is existed in the program. Suppose if I go to this one, as of now, I haven't written headings because of top of page event. So I want to use top of page event. So I'll use top of page event, and here I'll write the headings. So before I write the headings, let me write page, and I want to print the page number also. So that is the reason. Let me write page number. Page number. Suppose if you want to know current page number, we have a system variable sci page no, pag no. So this is used to return the current page number. Like we do have a some system variables to return the values. In previous classes, we have seen site date UM to return the current date, and to return the current time, we have seen site used EIT. Similar way, if you want to see the current page number, we can use this system variable. And after this, I will print these field labels. Like first field label is customer number. So customer number. Then after 20th line, I will print name. Then after 40th line, city. Then finally country. Okay, already here I have used write statement, so no need to write again. Let me put slash, and here I'll put comma. Okay. So I'll activate this one. So again, I'll put the breakpoint. So you cannot put the breakpoints nearby these events. Always remember. So and this one. So let's see. So first initialization event will be triggered. Then it will check the validation by using at selection screen event. After that, our actual logic will be triggered with the help of startup selection. Now, internal tip. So now look at the arrow mark. It is at 39th line. And after I press F6, now 43 line is there. So as I told you, top of page event will be triggered whenever the first write statement is there. So if you look at here under the 44th line, there is a write statement, and 51 line, there is one more write statement. So we'll see first which write statement will be triggered. So our thing is like our need is before displaying this data, we need to print the labels. Like before filling the customer number, name, country, first it should print the label. Like here how the names we are seeing tab name, similar way the field names first it should be print, later on it has to print the field values. Now if you look at the arrow mark, it is showing at 43 line. If I press F6, now it is at 44th line, but as of now it is not printed. If you see, look at the site average, it is still 1. If I go to F6, now see, automatically from 44th line to it was jumped to 51 line. As I told you, top of page event will be triggered first whenever first write statement is there. So here one write statement is there, here write statement is there. But under the top of page, which is the first write statement, 51 line. So this will be trigger first. Under the top of page, which write statement first existed, that will be trigger first. Even though I have written loop at the top of this one, but still it is not triggered. Directly from 44th line to jump down to 51 line. If you see site apex is still 1, means this internal table is not yet filled. With the help of work array, it is not went to the internal table. If you look at the site apex, still it shows 1. Because first top of page event will be triggered. So if I do F6, if I look at the page number, so page number is 1. And if I execute, so after 60th line, look at the controller, it went to now second write statement. Suppose if I execute, now first record will be inserted into internal table. So site apex is 1 still now. If I do F6 again, see site apex is 2. Now second record is going to be inserted into internal table. So like that, how many records are there? 8 records are there. So this loop will continue until 8 records are inserted into this internal table. So from this, I just wanted to show you, even though I have written first write statement in the loop statement, it is not triggered. First, this top of page event is triggered. So always remember, under the top of page, which write statement you write first, that will be triggered. Even though if you have written any other write statement above this one or previous before this code, that won't be triggered. So if I execute directly, you don't understand this statement. So that is the reason I have shown you the debugging mode. So top of page event will be triggered first write statement, and mainly it is used to print headings or field labels. So if I execute, see output, you don't see any difference, but you can understand the program flow with the help of debugging. As we discussed already, debugging is nothing but which is used to trace out the errors, correct the errors, and also analyze the program flow. So we can analyze the program flow with the help of debugging only. In the output directly, you cannot see what is happening, like which event is triggering first, how it is triggering, either with manual action or automatically it is triggering at certain time has been reached. So those are, you cannot see directly in the output stream. So those are we can able to monitor in the debugging only. So everyone should start practicing debugging also. Not only writing the programs, practice debugging also. Let me delete the breakpoints and will execute completely. I'll come back. Mm, Instead of remain, let me come back to the same program so it will be deleted. Okay. So now we understand the importance of this top of page event, how it is triggering either with this write statement first or this write statement. So next we have end of selection. So this event will be triggered whenever the start of selection is completed, whenever the selection process is completed, or whenever it reaches all the records, or whenever all the records are uh, inserted. Lastly, this event will be triggered. So after completion of the selection process, a event will be triggered automatically, that is end of selection. Suppose if you want to know which is the last record, then you can use end of selection event. So there is no manual interaction is required for this end of selection event. It will trigger automatically whenever the selection process is completed. So this event mainly we use if you want to know what is the last record is inserted or whenever the last record is inserted into any variable or internal table. If you want to know, then we can use end of selection event. So start of selection, it will start the logic. End of selection, whenever the selection process is completed, then this event will be triggered. Suppose, let me write here end of selection. And always remember, whenever you are using events, you need to follow the same spellings and hyphen. So instead of hyphen, if you put underscore, it will give a syntax error. So start of selection means start hyphen of hyphen selection at selection screen at space selection hyphen screen. So always remember same keywords you need to use. Even one character is changed, it is not considered as a event. Always remember. So end of selection I have written. And suppose if I want to know which is the last record, so I write a simple write statement. Right. Last record to trigger end of selection event. Just we want to know what is the last record and it is triggering with the help of end of selection event. So simple text I have written. And which is the last record in this internal table? How can we identify with the help of work area? Suppose I will find out with the help of customer number, which is the last customer number is inserted into internal table. I wanted to know. So that is the reason I have written a simple write statement. And with the help of work area, we can find out the customer number. Activate and I'll execute. Suppose here let me be India and I'll execute. So in this internal table, if you see these are the internal table records, which is the last one, 238. When it is ended the selection process, after reaching the 238, internal table has been closed. If you look at the last statement, see, last record to trigger the end of selection event. What is the customer number? 238. See, same customer number is existing the last. So whenever, if you want to know whenever the selection process is end, then you can use end of selection event. So after completion of 238 line, again there are no customer numbers are registered with India country. So that is the reason selection process has been completed. So when it is completed, end of selection will be triggered. So this end of selection event doesn't require any manual interaction. We no need to perform any action like press enter or click on anything. Automatically, it will trigger whenever the selection process is completed. This event will be triggered automatically. Always remember. And then we do have last event that is end of page. So this end of page event will be triggered whenever there are any footer last write statement. So this end of page event will be triggered whenever the last write statement is existed, then this event will be triggered. So top of page event will be triggered for the first write statement. End of page event will be triggered for the last write statement. And this event doesn't require any manual interaction. Like whenever the last write statement is there, it will trigger automatically. End of page event will be triggered automatically. We no need to click anything or press anything. Automatically this event will be triggered. So this event mainly we use whenever we have a footer headings. Then with the help of this end of page event, we can able to write. Suppose if there are any footers at the footers are nothing but at the bottom. If you want to write any text, then with the help of end of page, we can able to write. And if you want to use end of page event, we need to provide line count, meaning how many lines after you want to print the footers. Footers are nothing but at the end of the page, like how many lines of text you want to print. You need to specify that. So the prerequisite to use end of page is line count. Always remember. So end of page event is trigger for the last write statement, and it is mainly used to provide footer headings, or if you want to write any text at the end of the page, then we use this event. So the prerequisite is we need to provide the line count. Suppose if I go to this program, if I execute this one, so at the end of this page, I want to print these are the customer details from XYZ company. Like that, I want to print a footer. Footer is nothing but at the end of the page, I want to write some text. So if I want to write like that, first I need to specify in a page, it will it will be reserved for some particular lines. Like imagine that this is a page. In this page, few lines are reserved. Like suppose if you look at the classical report, this is nothing but title. And if you look at this underline, this is one more line. So these two lines are reserved for title and underline, and remaining are reserved for the records. Suppose, to understand you more clearly, before using end of page, let me give a line font here. So whatever we have seen the data just now, same data I will print in two pages. Suppose I will give one page, I want to print only 5 lines. In one page, I will print only 5 lines of data. So let's see. So for that, I have used a keyword line count at the top after the report program name, just to give a keyword called line count. So we are giving a line count of 5, meaning in one page, it has to print only 5 lines of records. So like that, I have given. I don't want to display all the records in one page itself. In one page, I want to display only 5 lines of records. So for that, I have used a keyword line count space, and how many records you want to display, you need to specify. Either it is a 5, 10, or whatever the count you need to specify here. Oh, let me execute. So if you see, these underlines are nothing but these are new pages. So if you see, page number 1 is there, again page number 2, page number 3, page number 4. So page number 5, page number 6, page number 7. So till page number 7, I have the data. And if I scroll up, I told you I want to print in one page 5 lines of records. But if you see under this underline, how many lines are there? Only 3 lines are there. One is reserved for the page number 1. The other one is reserved for the title, sorry, field labels. Then the next one is displayed record. So this is taking one line, and field labels are taking one line. Then record is taking one line. And along with that, title, this underline is reserved. Always remember, whenever we give page count, in every page, title will be reserved one line, underline will be reserved one line. So we need to calculate those two also. If I count those two, see, 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5. So in first page, how many lines are printed? 5. Similar way in second page. Again, if I count 1, underline is 2, this is 3, 4, 5. So in each page, 5 lines I have printed. So whenever we specify the number of lines, it will take 2 reserved lines for the title and underline. Along with that, whatever the write statement you have used in your program, it will calculate those write statement lines also. So whenever I have created this program, I gave the title as classical report. Look at the title. Here also written classical report and underline. If you open any program, this will be same. Like whenever we use top of page event or whenever we print something, these 2 lines are printed, reserved for title and underline. So this is considered as one page and this is considered as second page. So it will print only 5 lines, 2 for the reserved one and 3 for the whatever the right statements I have used in my program, that will be print. Now, let me increase this one. Suppose let me do 8 and we'll see. I'll activate and I'll execute. Mm. So I have used 8 lines. So 8 lines is nothing but 2 will be reserved for this title and underline. So remaining 6 will be left over. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 lines it is displayed. After 6 lines, again it will be considered as a new page. You see, automatically page has written page number 2 because I have written in the top of page event page number, current page number also I have printed because I want to show you this one. And in this page, only few lines of records are displayed because up to here only the data is existed. Suppose if you have more data, again it will be create one more page. Now, whenever the page is ending, in this page, suppose if I want to write a footer heading, like customer details are displayed from XYZ company. So this footer I want to display at the end of the page. End of the page is nothing but after 11th record here. I want to display it. So whenever we are writing footer headings, always remember first two are reserved for the title and underline. So you need to specify here. Whenever we use end of page event, you need to specify here. Like how many lines you are reserving for the footer heading. Suppose I want to write only single statement, like customer details are displayed from XYZ company. So I need only one line for my footer heading. So I need to specify within the bracket 1, meaning out of 8 lines, 1 line is reserved for the footer heading. Suppose if you want to write 3 lines in the footer, like customer details at the bottom from, and at the bottom you want to write like this customer details. In the new line, you want to write from details displayed from. In the one more line, you want to write X, Y, Z company. So you need 3 lines now. So this you want to print each and everything in a new line. So at the time, I need to specify out of 8 lines, 3 lines are reserved for the footer heading. So you need to write how many lines you need for the footer headings. So in this, in my case, I need only one line. Like everything, whatever I have written, I will write in a single line. So for that, what I can write? 8 out of 1. So out of 8 lines, I reserve only one line for my footer heading. So that I can able to write with the help of end of page event. So here I write customer master details are displayed from XYZ company. Type is not required. So if I execute, it will be India. So now see, every page ending, it has written customer master details are displayed from XYZ in the first page. If I scroll down, second page also written. If I scroll down, third page also written. So if you want to print in every page footer headings, then we can use this end of page event. Or else if you have only one page and if you want to display it, yes, we can use same thing. Suppose, okay, we need to specify the line count must. So we cannot do like that. So we need to specify the line count because every page ending we want to print out. So we need page count also. We need page count. It is required. It is mandatory. So whenever we want to print any footer headings with the help of end of page event, we can able to print the footer headings at the end of the pages. Always remember. So this event will be triggered at the end of whenever the last write statement is there, this event will be triggered. So last write statement is nothing but with the help of end of page event, which write statement is there that will be triggered at the end. It will trigger at the end. Always remember. So this is considered as a last write statement. Even though this end of page event you have written somewhere in the middle of the program, you if you don't follow the sequence, not an issue because these events are triggering based on the um, purpose, like based on whenever certain time has reached or based on user action, these events are triggering. If you don't follow the sequence, even though you will get the output, because it is not following the sequence, events are not following the sequence. Whenever we click on execute, this will be triggered automatically whenever this event time has reached, then it will be triggered. Suppose initialization event you have written somewhere in the middle. Yes, but it will trigger at the beginning itself. So functionality won't be changed. Even if you change the sequence, functionality won't be changed. So that is the reason I'm stressing you. Whenever we are using events, you need to know first what is the purpose of the event, and second thing, how this event will be triggered. Either manually we do any action or else it will trigger automatically whenever it reaches a specific time. So these two things you need to know. Not only these events, whenever we use any kind of events, you need to know these two things so that we can use in our program. If you don't know the purpose, if you don't know when it will be triggered, then how can we use in our program? We cannot use it. So that is the reason whenever we are learning events, you must know these two things. Any doubts?